I am truly thankful to be here on this stage, be able to talk to you guys about my journey into the trucking industry and also what it's like to be a part of a podcast. I think Matt's has a great platform for us to talk and have these conversations and make these connections. So how about it, huh? Everybody's so happy to be here, be at Matt's and enjoy the atmosphere and make those connections. How about it? It's great, right? Yeah, excellent, excellent, yes. So I'm thrilled. I can't thank you enough for being here and also being able to listen to my story. And I hope that it inspires each and every one of you. So I played this visual aid, and this is actually a little clip that I made myself with my cell phone. A lot of the things I do with podcasting is, well, you can do it on your phone. You don't have to basically have a lot of equipment, so I like to make sure that everyone knows that you can do this too. So that'll be playing in the background. We don't really need sound for it, but this is a great thing that I get to be a part of, to share those stories with individuals and the success of many people in the industry, that their stories are important. You know, I have a story, you have a story, everyone has a story to share, and to be a part of that journey is definitely an honor. I came into the trucking industry. My parents, I'm from a small town in North Carolina, and we didn't buy plane tickets. We drove everywhere. And so I got a chance to be on the highways, and we go back and forth from the north to the south. My mom, she was from Wisconsin, and my dad was from Virginia, so I was always on the road. And when I was in the road, in the back seat of the car, on those highways, I would visualize, hey, what can I do to get the attention of those truck drivers? So I would pump my arm up and down, right? Everybody knows that one. And they would blast that horn. When they would make that connection with me, it was like a secret handshake between me and the open road. A lot of people still do that today. I hope that never stops. And that's when I knew that trucking was something special. But when I'd be at my house, I would look out the windows. I would see truckers, wonder where they headed. Were they out there on the open road, free from the everyday routines that seem to confine everyone else? I was like, man, they're seeing something else. I want to be able to be there. I wanted to be a trucker. And when I was a lot younger, there was a individual, a family friend that I knew. He was a truck driver. He had a family. He took care of them. And I wanted to be like him. Secretly, I say, man, I think that's great. But so when I would ask him questions, he'd say, you don't want to be a truck driver. You don't want to do that. You're never home, and you're always gone. You miss out on everything. But I still desired to be a truck driver. And so that continued on my journey. They say the most infectious thing that people can have is an idea. Once that's in your mind, it's really hard to get it out of your mind because now it's implanted in your mind, and then it gives birth to a dream. And so then it became a dream to be a truck driver. That's what I started. I started on that journey, and there was times where I kind of wondered, is this something I should do? Many people would tell me, yeah, well, you want to go ahead and get a normal job, a 9 to 5. You should go to college. That sounds better, do something that's safe. And I would contemplate it. I would think about it, and I said, yeah, that does sound much better. So I went to school to be HVAC technician. I tried that. I also did sales, did customer service. I tried it all. But something about the trucks just came right back to my mind. I started thinking to myself, what would it be like to be free, to be out there on the open road, just like those truckers that I see every day? And so that still stuck with me. It was a dream that I had as a young one, and I just didn't want to give up on it. So all those other things did not really fit who I was. Has anyone here knew from a young age what they wanted to do, but they let fear and they let others talk them out of it? Maybe say, that's probably not the best idea. Or did you push for it, maybe despite what people had said, right? Well, that's how you pursue your dream. And a lot of reasons why I'm here also is to help people see that teamwork is important. When we network and when we talk to individuals, this is a great place to do it. We learn from other individuals, other professionals. You get to ask those questions that help you make those decisions. And that's what helped me. That's how I got to be where I'm at now. I'm a truck driver. How did I get that? Well, I was in California. I had an opportunity to be paired up with another truck driver, and to go out on the road and learn from them, get my CDL, and they would sponsor you. They would take care of your CDL license and make sure that you got your license, right? So I thought, man, that's a great idea. You know, I can work and I can also get my CDL. But I went to the hotel. My wife drove me there. Something just didn't seem right. You know, I went in the room where the other student was, and he was there, and I just didn't feel it was right. My daughter was 3 years old, 4 years old. I wanted to still be around. I felt like this job was going to take me away a lot longer. And so I called my wife, and I made that call, and I said to myself, all right, maybe we can do this, but just not right now. Has anyone ever had an idea or a dream that they wanted to pursue, but the timing wasn't right? Yeah, that does happen, you know? And that's nothing against the dream. That's nothing against the idea that you have. You just need a little more time to figure it out. And that's what I needed, a little more time. So as I got older, I did pursue it, and I went to CDL driving school, and I got the license that way. And as I got out there, my first job was with the Mayflower. I was moving furniture back and forth. I needed to do something because my wife needed a career change, so I needed more stability in my life. I needed something that could actually bring in income and be stable, you know, instead of, hey, you got work today, and hey, you don't have work the next day. So to me, trucking seemed stable. And so I went ahead and did that. Got that license. I got the moving company. That was the highest paying job I ever had right off the bat. I was like, hey, this is going to make my life better. And then I noticed that I wasn't driving that much. I was lifting couches, moving furniture, moving mattresses, and I wanted to drive. Nothing against the job. Moving is great. It's a necessary thing. Household goods are good, you know. We need that service. But for me, I wanted something different. And so I had to go back to networking again. And I would talk to individuals out there on the road, wherever we were. Maybe it was at a truck stop. And I would talk to them, and I would ask them specific questions about, hey, what is your pay? How did you get into this? What did you need? Did you need all of your endorsements? You name it. I talked to them, and I asked those questions, and I was able to get those answers I needed. And I realized that there were more people out there that were already doing more driving, back into the docks, didn't have to touch the freight. I was like, wow, this is an eye-opener. People are doing it already. They don't have to wait years to do this. So then I came across Coca-Cola. I saw them out there at those truck stops. I saw them out there at those gas stations, and they were moving it. And I was like, hey, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty stable. That's a great job. Why not do that? So, you know, I had the driving experience, and they said it'll be about 20% driving, and the rest will be moving cases back and forth, right? So I was like, hey, that's worth a try. Let's try that. Let's see what that's like, right? Well, hey, give it time. You know, you see what it's all about once you get into it. And so I got into it, and, of course, I felt the pain, the pressure of growth in the industry. It was my back. And I was like, hey, I'm lifting again. My hands were sore. You know, my back screamed in protest. You know, I was just, hey, I don't want to do this. Took a pep talk from my wife to get me going. I was like, all right, you know, 18,000 pounds 4 times a day. I was like, wow, is this really what it's meant to be? Is this what I want to do for 30 years? And there was nothing against that company. It was a great job, great benefits, but it still wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to drive more. And there were people there for 30, 40 years, so they made a career out of it. They did a great job. But was that the right fit for me? You see, trucking, there is no clear path laid out for you. You have to find your way. And I think if I can continue to share those stories with individuals that are out there in the industry looking for answers, I get to do that on the podcast. So, yeah, that was my story there with Coca-Cola, and it was definitely something that, hey, it was a lot of work, a lot of grocery stores, a lot of gas stations, and people always wonder, how does that stuff get on the shelf? Well, it takes a lot of back-breaking work, and I actually took pride in it. Sometimes I would feel like it was a challenge. You know, when Pepsi would show up, I would see, man, I can get this done faster than them, right? And it's like, you know, the challenge is on. You see that truck pull up, and you're over here, and you get your job done faster. I know. I felt I gave myself a trophy for that, little pat on the back, right? So, yeah, I mean, you got to find something that makes you happy, and you got to continue to push forward with it. So I didn't give up on trucking. I found out that it was something that I can do, and, hey, give it time. I'll find that right place, right? But I also came across FedEx. I came across those LTL companies. I noticed that there were truckers out there. They would do over the road, or they would do local work. Some of them had their own truck, owner operators. Some had their own fleet that they would grow. Well, I was a company driver. Nothing wrong with that, because you have that stability, that steady paycheck, and I like that. There was nothing wrong with that. Still isn't. There's a lot of glory in having the fancy trucks that I see out here today. I wish I could have one of those long-nosed Pete's or something like that. But you get the company truck, that's nice. It's a lot of worry-free things that you don't have to worry about, and that's great. And so, where are we headed with this? What's the logic with the trucking industry? What do we want to do? What's the call of action? Well, things are changing. I could be a little fearful that the industry is changing, going in a different way. There's a lot of automation that's happening. What are we going to do as a group, as individuals in different departments? We can kind of be like, hey, why is this changing? I like the way it was. But we can adapt to those changes. Just like I was able to adapt to different jobs on an individual level, we as an industry can get ahead of it and be a part of that change. So I think that's a great thing that we can see. We can take that leap. Also, we can also get involved as a group. Like I said before, teamwork. If we work together, we see all these other departments in here, they're all working together. They're all cohesively creating the same results. And that's something that we can see as individuals, that it's important that we do that. We continue to work to create that energy out there, that good energy of change. So wanted to say that, as you're in the trucking industry and you started to ask these questions for yourself, where is it headed? Well, I started asking myself, did I make a mistake? I wondered, did I do the right thing? Was trucking something that I wanted to be a part of for the rest of my life? Well, there were some times when I was out there at Coca-Cola, I thought about bringing the truck back halfway through the day. That wouldn't have been good. That probably would have ended my career right there. But doubt does sink in each and every day. But I decided to fight back. I decided to embrace the change and be a part of what's good. So I like that we can do that. We can celebrate those victories, even though doubt does come up. It doesn't have to be always about success. We can look at those losses and learn from them, and then celebrate the wins. So as I got more comfortable with trucking, I also noticed there were other companies that truck drivers aspired to be a part of, like UPS. And when I saw that company was more along the lines that I wanted to be a part of, I took a hold of it right away. I embraced it. And now that's where I'm at. And I enjoy what I do each and every day. I get to go and do a lot more driving. I get to go across state lines. I'm not just a local driver. And then I'm home a lot. So that helps me. That's something I think we all should be a part of. I know the industry leaders, they think about that particular job that they're doing for the company. Well, so we as truck drivers, we can think about what path we want to be on, and we can find what fits for us and our family. I think that's a great idea. I think we should continue to do that. We can embrace the future ahead. There's also a report, McKinsey & Company survey revealed that fully autonomous trucking is expected to be operational within the next 4 to 7 years. I think that does bring something, bring some fear or maybe some regret that, hey, maybe we should do something different, but we can use that in a way that helps us. We can embrace that change. So it says also the International Transport Forum predicts that 70% of trucking jobs could be at risk by 2030 due to automation. That could cause some fear as well, right? Well, what do we do to stop? Don't let that stop us, right? Well, what we can do is we can ask ourselves key questions. Are we going to stay informed? Knowing what's happening in the industry, we can read about new regulations. We can follow industry leaders, and we can not let ourselves get caught off guard. Or we can seek training. If automation is coming, you can position yourselves in a form of leadership, and that can help you as well. So upscaling isn't just for an office job. It can be for truckers as well. And we can ask questions. We don't have to be afraid of change like I did for myself. where you can ask questions to individuals and see how am I able to make that change. We can be a part of something that not only good for us, but also for the industry. Or we can also collaborate, build relationships. And we've talked about that quite a bit on this stage. Many different people say, hey, if you're a truck driver, owner, operator, you get your own contracts. Yeah, don't just rely on the load boards, that technology. Do that footwork, build those relationships and those connections. That's what we're here for, too. We can do that while we're here. We can learn about new things that we didn't know existed, or how did it come about. We can get in front of it that way. So technology isn't the enemy. It is something that we use as a tool each and every day. A lot of times we get on social media and it could paint a picture of something different, totally something different. And because they like that fear, they keep you going and make you click on it, right? But reality is, you don't have to be fearful of automation. You don't have to be fearful of technology. You can use it for your benefit. And that's what I was able to do as a podcaster. I was able to use technology in a way to help me get my voice out there. And so many people have been able to benefit from it and enjoy it. And I've been able to enjoy it myself. Just listening to all these different stories, I learned about different industries that I didn't know anything about. I got a chance to connect with industry leaders that I didn't know was there. One big thing that the trucking industry has been able to be involved with is Truckers Against Trafficking. And the work that they've been able to do. How did we know that a truck driver can make a difference, possibly even save someone's life? So that organization in itself shows that we have that power for change, to make things better. And so we appreciate the work that they're doing as well. So it's definitely could be a force for good. I think that trucking in itself, we can take a hold of the opportunity that we have. It's a small network, but yet it could also make a big impact. So I love the fact that I get to be a part of the podcasting network as well. There's so many people out there and that have a voice. You can use it too. You can share your knowledge with many people in the industry. I like to advocate for that as well. Podcasting is another way, not just for me as an individual, but even as companies. Company leaders, business people, they can have a voice, they can have a podcast. So if anyone has questions about podcasting, I would love to help them have a voice, and also see how they can promote their business. So one thing I challenge you is to follow your dreams, your aspirations. It's not dead in the water. You can keep going, and you can reinvigorate that joy that you have in your heart. And I thank each and every one of you for being here today, and I get to share my story. So I challenge you today. I say, if there's any dreams or aspirations that you may have set aside for yourself, and any uncertainty that has come up, I challenge you to not just think about it, but to act on it and to make that difference. That's why I'm here today. I get to be on this stage and talk with you. I think it's just a great thing. I challenged myself, and I got to my goal right where I wanted to be. So thank you guys so much for being here today. I wanted to also thank you for listening to this message. You can also find me on YouTube. That video itself will be on there. And then also wanted to play the sound for the next video. These are some of the individuals that were able to be on the podcast. And we can go ahead and crank that up for them so they could hear. Let's see if we got the sound.
Wish continued blessings to you and your hard work, your podcast, man. We'll keep you guys in our prayers. Hope you keep growing, and we appreciate what you're doing for the industry as well. There's a lot of people out here doing a lot of good for the industry, and you're one of them. So keep it up, man. Keep up the hard work.
Just keep doing what you're doing, and if you see something, please do say something, because when you make that call, you could be saving a life. And I love all the tats out there. Thank you guys so much for just the work you do on a daily basis, keeping our country going, but for also being a tat. You have my heart.
So the biggest challenge was making sure that we delivered on what we said we were going to deliver on. And as an association, most of that is communication and information. And so we had to come up with insights on how people could attract and retain more women in the industry. And we had to do it fast.
get to have these conversations and meet great people such as yourself. But, it takes a village. And I have an incredible team, industry affairs. We have Brittany, Virginia, Meredith, Serena, who answers our inbox questions. And there's so many of those, and that kind of work can go unnoticed sometimes, but we wouldn't have this opportunity and this council without their hard work. So I think the shout out belongs to them. Thank you for asking.
How nice. We got quite a few people that were able to be on the show, be able to deliver a message of what they were doing and their success and their stories. You too can also be on there. You can have your own podcast or also share that message with us. So really appreciate you guys listening to the message I have today. I am so deeply honored to be a part of this and to be on this stage. So if you guys have any questions about podcasting or want to share your journey or anything, we have also a few minutes where we can share that too. And I call on anyone here. Who wants to be the first? Well, you have any questions maybe? What's a question maybe that you would like to ask me about trucking or podcasting? Maybe we have a fixed question. You want to ask a question that I can answer?
How did you transition from trucking into podcasting? What was that bridge?
How did I transition into trucking to podcasting? Right? Did I get that right? All right. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I was going through a hard time. I thought maybe, hey, I need a distraction. I needed something else to think about other than just my problems. Growing up in a family from a young kid, depression and anxiety was huge. So it's always best to have some way to get a distraction, to get away from those thoughts. And so when they say it's better to help people and better to give than to think about your own problems, then typically you can find happiness that way. So I started the podcast to celebrate those people in the industry. And I say, you know what, I'm just going to push to do this. Maybe I can get something done on the weekends or my free time. And, of course, I had a great producer, my wife. She's a great person. She helps me as well. And we started coordinating or reaching out to individuals, cold networking. And the response was overwhelming. And so I continue to keep putting on shows, and I continue to do that each and every time I get someone that wants to be on the show. Here we go. We're going to give them the mic and tell them, say, hey, what's your story? How did you get involved in trucking? That's the famous question, right? How did you get involved in trucking? And that's basically all I did. So there's a lot of great programs out there. I've used StreamYard. That's a great platform. I used Zoom, which was really great during COVID times. People would use Zoom a lot. I mean, it took off. So we got educated on how to use that platform real quick for a lot of people. So I just used that and I recorded it. And there's so many platforms out there. It makes it super easy. You don't need a ton of equipment. I think each month I would buy something extra and add to it. And then it made it a little more nicer, a little more easier. And then you can probably see that in my earlier videos or earlier recordings. You can see the quality just continue to increase. But yeah, you don't have to start. You just need a microphone and a cell phone. As you can tell, that video was made on the phone, and that's it. I like to make it simple. I'm a trucker with the mic. That's it. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody? Yeah. One more question. How long has who's a truck driver here today? Anybody? I see a head nod. Nobody? Who knows a truck driver? Oh, there you are. You're a truck driver, yes. So, how long you been driving? We'll get you a mic, yeah.
$18 years.
18. Wow, that's perfect. And what type of trucking?
Dry van.
Dry van. That's one of my favorite. That's what I do too. Mm-hmm. So when you do your job, what is it that you like most about it?
I work alone.
Yeah, yes. And that makes it a lot easier to get through the day. Do you drive at night or during the day?
At night.
Okay, me too. Yeah. See? All right, we can relate. I can relate. And so you see a lot of things at night that most people don't see, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Yep. You can share stories. You got many stories probably from driving at night that you probably could share.
Not on the spot like this.
No, that's right. No, we're not gonna. But if you ever wanted to share your story, we can put you on the podcast, and you can help other individuals. What I like about it is that other people may have just started driving at night, and that schedule, trying to learn to be a part of your family life, and then also drive at night, the flip flop in the schedule. I mean, how do you balance that?
Sodas, sports drinks, 5-hour energy drink,
Yeah.
coffee,
That's perfect. Yeah.
and turn the phone off.
And turn the phone
Honestly.
off?
Yeah, off.
Ah, I like that. Why do you do that?
I don't want it ringing.
Yeah.
You're trying to sleep, you're trying to sleep.
Oh, that's it. During the day, right? Yes. Yeah, you get a lot of different calls you don't need and that takes you out of your sleep cycle. Man,
Yes.
yeah. Perfect. That's a great story right there. You give her a hand. Thank you for being brave. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. So I appreciate that. All right, well, that's all for today. Thank you guys for listening in, and I appreciate, taking that time out of your day to sit and listen to my story. And you can find out more, too, on that'sdelivered.com. That's where the podcast is on Apple, Spotify, pretty much all the platforms. Thank you, guys.